Well, hi everyone. We'll be waiting a few minutes to see more people join us on this webinar today that I will be talking about the Canary Islands. Well, we'll be waiting a little bit now for a few people to join, as we're spot on time, and we wait like a few minutes to see if somebody is here. And yeah, we wait a few minutes. Hi Lucy from Imray, she's watching us. Hello from the Caribbean. We're actually anchored now here in Prickly Bay in Grenada on the south coast. So yeah, we wait a few minutes, 1-2 minutes more, and then I start. And yeah, it's a bit rocky today, a bit moving. It's a bit of a south sector wind today, so it's quite rocky. And then, but I'm happy that that we can use the internet, which was a problem sometimes here when you're on anchor to talk, do a live stream. So it's quite difficult. There's a few configurations here on the video I can do, but I won't touch anything because this is the first webinar I do, and I've done seminars in front of people, but not with a computer, and that's just like, you press the wrong button and it's gone. ¿Puedo saber cuánta gente hay conectada o algo? ¿Dónde lo veo? Hi Kenneth. Kenneth Dot says hello. I answered. I will answer while I speaking. Like there's no need to be typing it. Henrik, hi from Denmark. That's cool. I know there's people joining from South Africa and from Carriacou and from everywhere, which is really nice. And that's really cool. And I think we should start. I mean, it's now 3 minutes past. We have half an hour to answer your questions, and I hope I can answer them all. I'll try to anyways. Last time I was on the Canaries was in January, so some things have happened, especially with this situation. I will tell you about that in a few minutes, about what's going on. Well, you know, they have opened the borders in Spain, so Four minutes now. I will start now with this webinar, and I hope more people will join during the streaming. And well, for those that don't know me, I'm Oliver Solanas Heinrichs. I live, well, I've been living on my boat now for 8 years, but I moved to the Canary Islands back in '96, and then in 2013 I decided to sail around the islands and visit all the marinas, and I saw the problems that they had, the sailors had with languages and all that, and I created a sailing platform called Ocho Islas, and I started like to represent different cruising associations like the OCC, Transocean Germany, and also for the Spanish Cruising Association. and helping out sailors for many years in Fuerteventura and also on the Canary Island, on Gran Canaria. Worked for the ARC for 4 years, and we're running our own rally now called Viking Explorers. And well, what we talk about is the Canary Islands. I mean, it's a really nice place to be. I'm now in the Caribbean. I mean, we sailed over 3 months ago, and but my heart, of course, is in the Canary Islands. And well, I suppose you know where the Canary Islands are. They are in front of the African coast, a bit up north. It belongs to Spain, to Europe. And there I would say they are completely inside of the trade winds belt. I mean, the Canary Islands, we start talking a little bit about the weather over there. It's, I would say, standard 80% north-northeast winds, which is because of the high of the Azores and the heat of the Sahara, and then you have the trade wind just going down. That's why it is the hub and the jumping start for Atlantic crossings, actually. I presume everybody stops in the Canary Islands, or most of the people stop in the Canary Islands to bunker up and then keep going, which I know many do. And with this guy that I did about 4 years ago, cruising guide to the Canary Islands, well, we wanted that people discover the islands, and they visit each island, and then they keep going and sailing. I mean, anyways, when you sail down to the Canary Islands, best time, of course, is during the summertime, which is the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. You sail down, and then you leave your boat there, and in November, December, January, that's when you cross the Atlantic. The trade winds are much better settled in January. That's actually why we run our event, the Viking Explorers, every January. So I start with talking about sailing the islands. It's 8 islands. Officially, actually, it's 7 islands, but I always say 8 islands because in the north of Lanzarote there is La Graciosa, and La Graciosa is really the island to discover, one of the last paradise, I would say, where there's no pavements, everything is sand, and it's a really nice place, very dry, of course. And but it probably be the first stop that you will have when you come from the northern, when you come from Spain, from the northern part. And also because in La Graciosa we have, I would say, pretty much the best anchorage overall of the Canary Islands, which is in La Francesa, which is just like southerly from La Graciosa and northerly from Lanzarote. So there's the little channel. The prevailing winds are always northeast. West swells, yes, but not so often. Southwest, very rare. From the south, very rare. So it's quite protected, that area. It's the same as with the marinas. Pretty much, I think all the marinas are open to the south and close to the north. That's why when there is southerly winds coming in, which do occur, it starts rocking a lot inside of the marinas. There's a lot of bouncing, and also with southeasterly winds, strong ones. You need to keep an eye on those conditions, because then it moves a lot inside of the marinas. As you sail down to Lanzarote, then going down south, which is just a little jump. Be careful always with the acceleration zones, which are very famous on the Canary Islands. I'll talk about that while I go through the islands. Always in the top ends, in the bottom, you know, the trade winds, they hit the Canary Islands. You have the Big Teide, which is the highest mountain in Spain, and it funnels through, and there are some places where you're actually sailing with 10-15 knots, and all of a sudden you're in 30 knots. That goes quite easy. But it's well said in charts, Imray charts. They all shows where the acceleration zones are, and you can actually see it as well. I mean, you can see the line, you can see the wind, and be always prepared. And don't really trust the weather forecast if it tells you it's 15 knots, because most of the time the weather forecast will not show you the actual local conditions at that place. Right? There are some points in the southern part, on the southeast side of Gran Canaria, which is an acceleration zone, and then again on the west side, it's a very famous acceleration zone. And well, I said the islands itself, you have a lot of microclimates. That's really nice about the islands. As more westerly you go, as greener they get. You have like really tropical forests, whereas in Lanzarote you don't have that. But in Lanzarote you have the volcanoes, which is impressive. They're still active, and they're like actually they're cooking chickens on the volcano crater. It's really good, and you have really nice marinas over there. You have 3 main marinas, which are like the ones that are like always on the east coast. Most of the marinas are on the east coast, apart from I think it's the one in La Palma, which is Tatacorte on the west coast, one of my favorite marinas as well. Very easy to get to when you are in Madeira. You just need to change your course a little bit, and then you can sail down to La Palma. So that's really good. And well, Fuerteventura, when you sail down south, I mean the gap between the islands is not really big. The biggest gap between the islands is actually from Fuerteventura to Gran Canaria, which I've done heaps of times because I was based in Fuerteventura and sailed over to Gran Canaria for work, to work on boats and so on. And that's the longest distance, which is 90 miles. 90 miles. To sail westwards and southwestwards, it's always fantastic. The problem is when you need to sail back, because as I said, the northeastern sector is always in most of the time, the trade winds, and you need then to fight against them. So sometimes it's better to go along the southern coast, to be very careful with acceleration zones, and then go up around the coast. So that's a hint. As I said, for Lanzarote's got 3 main marinas, and they're like private marinas. They're really good. Then you say to Fuerteventura, which is just a little jump to Fuerteventura, which is like 7 miles. And Fuerteventura, as I said, again, very dusty, very volcanic-like. Not as volcanic as maybe Lanzarote. Fuerteventura's got the beaches. The beaches of Fuerteventura are the best ones of the whole of the Canary Islands. As I always say, every island has got its own thing. It's a lot of microclimates, so it's really nice. The bad thing I would say about Fuerteventura is the marinas. I unfortunately have to say there's no private marina really. I mean, there's one in midway, a bit southerly from the capital, called Castillo, which is pretty much full always. It's not really so good for transit boats. So and Coralejo up in the north. To make it clear, in the Canary Islands there's 3 types of marinas. So there's the private marinas, concessions. Then there's the marinas that are run by the Canarian government, Puertos Canarios. And then there's the marinas run by the Spanish government, Puertos del Estado, which are normally the capitals, and normally they deal with commercial harbors. The big difference is Las Palmas. Las Palmas is Puertos del Estado, but it's also a marina for yachts. This is a big exception. And of course the marinas, private marinas, very good service. Very good service, of course, all of them. And the marinas belonging to the Canarian government, well, the services are not that great, but it is a very cheap option to haul out your boat as well. So everything has got its positive thing and its bad thing, right? For hauling out the boat, Lanzarote has got a lot of options. La Palma, Tazacorte is also a good option. To mention, it is in Spain. It's not so common that people haul out the boats and leave them out for the winter season in the dry. This is something that the international sailors do a lot. But in the Canary Islands, I just talked yesterday with one of the marinas, which is Pasito Blanco, which is a very nice marina down in the south of Gran Canaria. And I asked them about hauling out the boats and leaving out there a few months and so on, and they said, yeah, well, if there's space, they do that, but normally the marinas, when they haul out the boats, is for doing maintenance and work, and then back in the water, back in. So Fuerteventura, you can sail down the coast and then down towards Gran Canaria. And Gran Canaria is the main capital of the province of Las Palmas. We have 2 provinces in Canary Islands, the province of Las Palmas and the province of Tenerife. So you have the 3 islands, let's say, on the east side, which is Lanzarote, Fuerteventura and Gran Canaria, that belongs to the province of Las Palmas. And then you have Tenerife. In the north, then northwest, you have La Palma, then you have La Gomera, and then you have El Hierro, and they belong to the province of Tenerife. And Gran Canaria is really nice, also nice island. And there it starts getting green. Up in the mountains, it's green. The southern parts of most of the islands are all dry. This is due to the trade winds, the effect as well of the trade winds. And the southern parts are normally sheltered from the wind and it's really dry. The northern parts are really green. Not talking about Lanzarote and Fuerteventura, of course. Gran Canaria is really nice. It's got really a lot of some marinas, nice marinas as well. Must say, of course, Las Palmas, Gran Canaria is still one of the most cheapest marinas. I don't know if I would say from Europe, but it's a very cheap marina. So you always have to find the relation between services and what you pay for. It's a huge marina, 1,280 berths, something like that, and there are projects about expanding as well, but that will take some time. I talked with some people about the works and about what they're going to do in Las Palmas, and it's just a matter of time that it's going to be privatized, which of course then the prices will raise and everything will change. But until then, it's a really good option. But be aware, unfortunately, between late October, November, you actually will be kicked out from the marina due to the arc. Because well, it's 300 boats and yeah. As we also say that in the guide, it has happened and it happens to us and it happens to friends. You reach Gran Canaria and you're being towed off or go to the anchorage place in Alcarabaneras. But well, that's only in November. The rest of the year it's perfect. It's not a problem. And then we have Tenerife. Tenerife, I mean. Tenerife is a very nice island. You can go hiking, you can go up to El Teide, which even you have snow up there. And the southern part is really dry, and the northern part is really tropical. It's really nice, especially the northwestern side, La Orotava. I know this is really nice. Sailing, as you sail down from the coast, from Gran Canaria down the coast on the east side, down to the other marina in the south. There are some acceleration zones there that are marked also in our guide, and it's quite straightforward. Once you are down in the south, of course, you will have probably most of the time no wind then, because the trades from the north won't get that far down. Well, they get blocked, they go around. But once you leave again, then you can expect. Normally to sail from down south, from Gran Canaria up to Las Palmas is quite tough. Because you sail against the wind, against the waves, against everything, right? So, well, it's part of the game. You know the trade winds, from where they come, and if you need to go back, well, a lot of engines sometimes. So Tenerife, yeah, the south of Tenerife, you have Las Galletas. It's a nice marina as well, and in the capital as well. Now, a few years ago, they did a new bridge, a green bridge that you can access the town. And that's really nice, and the marinas are also quite nice down in the south. Las Galletas welcomes the transit boats a lot, and up in Tenerife, in the capital, there's always place. And there's a bit of lack of marinas actually in Tenerife. That's what people say. Overall, in the Canary Islands, they're all full of marinas, and but you still find place, of course. I'm thinking about the south of Tenerife. It's very dry, of course, very touristic, the same as the south of Gran Canaria. And from there, actually, you sail then towards La Gomera. That's what you normally do, to La Gomera, because it's just like 30 miles, 40 miles. And La Gomera is a beautiful island, really green, with mountains. That's really nice. That's actually where my uncle lives, who circumnavigated for 7 years, and then he fell in love with La Gomera and he ended up there. By the way, to mention about this, I found a lot of sailors telling me before I departed, because I wanted to circumnavigate. I'm in the Caribbean now, and a lot of people telling me, well, we stay in the Canary Islands. I met a lot of sailors who were staying in the Canary Islands. Nice weather, no mosquitoes, no malaria, you're in Europe, but you're not in Europe. A lot of things, no sharks, it's really nice weather all year round. You have all year round around your 20 degrees. In the winter time, it gets a bit more chilly during the night time, but yeah, it's a eternal spring, as we call it. And yeah, La Gomera, you can go also. Marina La Gomera is really nice. The staff is really friendly, and normally there's space. And on the other side, you have Vueltas, which belong to Puertos Canarios, I advise always right now, before I forget, I have been told by the marinas in the Canary Islands to let you know that they're all fully operational and they're welcoming all visitors, they're welcoming all the boats, but please contact them beforehand. Please send them an email beforehand, tell them you're going to arrive. I've heard from many sailors there's been no problem at all, but things are changing so fast that it's always better to get in touch with them directly with the email. They're making a big effort, of course, to answer those emails, and they do welcome all the sailors. Apparently there's no problem right now, but it can change again, and so I advise really to contact the marinas directly. And yeah, north from, we sailed actually, well, I've sailed a lot of times, but I sailed last time from La Gomera, then up to La Palma, to Marina La Palma, which just at the entrance of Marina La Palma is an acceleration zone. You have to be a bit careful. Once you're in the marina, it's fine. It used to move a lot inside the marina, and then a few years ago, a year, 2 years ago, they put some gates that move. They open and they close to avoid the search, to avoid the movement inside of the marina. So you call them beforehand on the VHF, and then they'll open the gate to you. I've not tried that out yet, but I will see how it works. I think they're doing the mini transat as well, the next one from there. That's really nice. And La Palma is just like marvelous. I mean, it's really nice, really green, really green. It's like if in Fuerteventura you don't find a green place, or you do, but it's all with water. It's all watered. In La Palma or La Gomera, it's the other way around. It's all really, really green, really green. And on the other side, on the west side from La Palma is Tazacorte, the marina of Tazacorte, which is for me is well, I really like. We stayed there many months, and they helped us as well with the guide, and it was really nice over there. And well, when we departed, we couldn't put all the bananas on the boat that they gave us. I mean, there you can just have as many bananas if you want. Big banana plantations all over the place in Tazacorte. It's really nice. Be careful with the southern tip of La Palma, Fuencaliente. This is a point where it's a really, really heavy acceleration zone as well. Be aware about that. I mean, just this, it's common sense. You will see the line, you see the acceleration line. Put a reef on, and you will be on the safe side. That's no problem then. And at the very, very southern part, southwest part, we have the island of El Hierro, which is the last island, the most away part from the Canary Islands down. You have two harbors there, one in the north and one in the south. The one in the north still belongs, I think, to Tenerife, to the Tenerife government, and the southern part, La Restinga, I stayed there for a month. It's a really nice part, a really nice place. That's actually where there was an eruption of a volcano a few years ago, and that's a really, really nice place to be as well, in the south of El Hierro. And once you're there, if you want to go back to Las Palmas, then you have to see the weather forecast and see how you do it. Normally you jump then to Tenerife, and then you go along the coast, and then you jump to Gran Canaria, or depending what wind you have. If you're lucky enough to have west wind or southerly wind, I know many friends, when there is south wind or south sector, southeast, whatever, for a weekend, I mean, they don't think it twice. They sail up to Lanzarote, La Graciosa, which otherwise with those northeasterlies, it's quite tough to do. Quite tough to do. About the sailing, about the anchoring in the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands does not have many anchorage places, and it does not have at all any big bays as you might have in the Med or you might have in the Caribbean. It's quite steep. It all goes quite fast steep. There's a lot of anchorages, a few of them, which is okay, mostly in the southern part of the islands. On the east coast you can as well, but of course only if there's no wind and there's no swell, and that there is no wind from the northeast. Yeah, there are days that it happens. Normally, yeah, well, the winter time is normally not so windy as the summertime. I mean, in the summertime in August, you have all the championships. You have championships, windsurf championships down south in Fuerteventura and Tenerife, and especially there where the acceleration zones are, one of them. You know, in Sotavento in Fuerteventura, then you have also also in the south of Gran Canaria, also in Tenerife. On those islands you have then always the championships. That's in the summertime. In wintertime normally it's not so windy and it's nice to sail the islands. So that's what I say, you sail down in August, September, and then once the heavy wind of the trades are over, you can always enjoy November, September, October, November, the islands, discover the islands, and then in December you get ready to cross the Atlantic, or ready to stay on the islands if you want to. To cross the Atlantic, yeah, I mean we crossed 3 years ago, and I'm actually managing director of the Viking Explorers Rally, which is now in the 4th year, and we're really happy because we have like 24 boats right now, which is the maximum. I mean, we never would accept more than 25 boats or so, because it's a nice small group and we want to keep it like this. And we cross in January, which is I think best time to cross. The trade winds are more settled, and yeah, we go through Mindelo, Cape Verde, to stop over there to see everything is okay, if the crew is okay and if the boat is okay. And also because you can then buy fresh stuff, because on the Canary Islands you can buy all the fresh stuff, but if you are going to be like 20 days on a trip across the Atlantic, yeah, well then you have to be careful with the fresh stuff, how you store it and all that. And if you sail to Cape Verde, then you just have to bunker for fresh stuff for a week, and then you can buy it in Mindelo again in Cape Verde. All the fresh produces all the fresh stuff. Sailing down to Cape Verde is sometimes a little bit so-so, because you have the wave coming straight from the back. Last time we sailed down, the weather forecast was good, but still we had like 3-meter waves from the back, from the stern, and depending on the boat size, you twist and it's not so comfortable. So, but it's nice to have a stop there. It's 800 miles roughly, and then from there to the Caribbean is about 2,100 miles. Of course, the Canary Islands, to bunker up your boat and get your boat ready is a thing. Because there's a lot of nice marinas where you can start from, but to efficiently prepare your boat in an easy way, there really are some marinas that are much better than the others. I'm not going to go into that, but of course Las Palmas is still the place where you have all the services and everything can be done. But that also can be done in Lanzarote, because the private marinas will also help you with that. But you can bunker up in Las Palmas, and then you can sail to Tenerife, then you can sail maybe to El Hierro, and from there just stuff it up with bananas, and then you keep going and you crush them. As I said before, anchorage, normally it's not a problem. When you get to La Francesa, once you sail down and you want to anchor there, you need to ask for permission. Also in our guide, and also you can always ask me privately as well, send me messages on Facebook or in the emails. Normally you have to apply for an authorization to anchor down there. That's by law. Many don't do it, and most of the time nothing happens. But that's something you have to decide. I live there. I have not done it. I have to be honest, I've not done it. I've anchored there, and I didn't have a problem yet, and also the locals, but I know some people have. So it's always advised to ask for the permit to anchor there. And in the rest of the areas, you can just you can anchor. It's not a problem. But as I say, it's always quite deep and rocky, and to have nice long sandy bottom, it's not so often on the Canary Islands. I would not like to know if there's any questions or anything. I mean, I've been talking now myself for 28 minutes, and I would like to know if there's any questions or anything you would like to know. Yeah, I'm up for any questions that you might have. And apart from that, I keep talking a little bit about. I'm checking out the guide. This is actually the guide that we did for the Canary Islands. It's the only guide right now. It's the only guide in the market by Imray from exclusively only the Canary Islands, and it will be updated quite soon. We have to set up a good time and the right moment to get all the news out, because also now with the situation it's quite hard. And but I hope that we will be back by end of September, October. My fiancée, myself, Carlota, myself, to go back to the Canary Islands, and during October, November, we would like to do another research for our company, Ocho Islas, to do research about all the Canary Islands again, all the marinas, and update all the information and everything. And you can then find this on a website that we will of course update then. It's really we have some questions here, or oh, okay, I didn't scroll down. I'm very sorry. Hello, Harry Mickman. Oh, you're from in the US. Nice. Hi, Boyd. Golly, I see that you got now into this. Or do you prefer to go via Madeira? When getting to the Canaries from Spain, Portugal, will you stop in Morocco, or do you prefer to go via Madeira? I would prefer to go via Madeira, to be honest. Morocco is also nice, but I've heard a bit of stories about the fishermen nets. There's a lot of fishermen nets around, and you can stuck. But my dad sailed back from the Canary Islands back to Agadir, and it was nice. I mean, but I prefer to go to Madeira, to be honest. Hi Jenny. Oh, that's nice, from Johannesburg. We met in the Canary Islands. That's nice. And Lars Hansen, I know you. It still moves a lot in the Marina Santa Cruz de la Palma here, even with the gates. All right, because there are holes in the pier. Okay, I know the ferry, when it comes, that was a problem. The ferry came in and out. It was like really bad. But we will see. I hear that you say that you visit Morocco. Morocco is a nice place to be, I know for sure. But I don't know. Most people, they sail from Madeira straight down to the Canary Islands. Somebody's asking me if 49 feet is too big for Viking Explorers Rally. Why? No, it's not big. Why should it be too big? No, we have this coming year now for this 4th edition. We have 52 footers, I think, and even bigger. That's not a problem. So yeah, as we said, Viking Explorers, we are running the event, but we are very cautious. I mean, we're not going to start charging now participants in this. We send in everybody an email. We're always there for them. I think this is the best practice. I mean, start charging everyone, and then maybe something happens, and then we have to give the money back. I don't like to do these things. We are sailors. We wait. I can assure that we will leave, but I cannot assure where to. To leave from the Canary Islands shall be no problem, but we have to monitor constantly what is happening in the Caribbean, and make sure that you get to the right destinations and to nice destinations, and that they welcome you over there. David Alexander Watts, how are you doing? You're asking me what would be a nice itinerary for a week's charter sailing holiday in the Canaries. Well, the first thing, of course, is at what time of the year you want to do this. That's the question. Gran Canaria, you can start from there, but okay. If it was me, I would do one thing. I would ask first the charter company if you can charter a company in place A and leave your boat then in place B, so you don't need to go back. So I would ask the charter company, can I hire the boat, for example, at Lava Charter in Lanzarote, and ask them, can I leave the boat then in Tenerife, or can I leave the boat back in La Palma and you bring it back? So then you can jump all the islands, going always with the wind, and you go and end up in El Hierro or in La Palma, La Gomera, and you don't need to paddle back up. So that's what I would do. Alan Krasno, hello Alan. He says that he recommends January for Atlantic crossings. And when he did it 6 years back, he was glad he stopped in Cape Verde. Minelo is a very modern, secure marina there. That's right, and that's why we've decided as well to do it in January, because it's more, the trade winds are more settled. Okay.
What's your favorite marina? ¿Tu marina favorita? Lo pregunta Lucy.
Oh, Lucy's asking me what is my favorite marina. My favorite marina, well, I shall say all the marinas are my favorite ones, not to create any. But my favorite marina, and Carlota, my fiancée, is going to agree with me, is Tazacorte. Is Marina Tazacorte, Puerto de Tazacorte. It's a really nice marina, Jane and the staff, and they're really nice people. And the people over there is really nice marina. The services are really good. That's my favorite marina actually. What is the best time of year to leave United Kingdom for Canaries? Well, obviously summertime. That's for sure. Between June, July, August, and then up to September. Think that you want to leave Europe and sail down south in the summertime in the northern hemisphere, because then normally you wouldn't have the big lows, and so you leave in United Kingdom and you go along the coast. Be a bit careful with the Horn of Vizcaya, but of course I would suggest always June, July, August. That's when most people sail down. You can sail down any time of the year, but that's the most common one, that they sail down in those months. All right, best time to leave the Canary Islands for Canaries. Lars, he agrees with me. Cool. Yeah, about Morocco again. It's only a jump. I mean, from Fuerteventura, where I'm based, it's only from Gran Tarajal, which is actually the marina that I suggest in Fuerteventura, because there's always place. They're very friendly. When you approach a marina that belongs to Puertos Canarios, it does happen a lot of times that they don't answer on your VHF on channel 09. But don't worry about that. Just go inside, and then probably the mariner or the security guy with guide you into the berth, and they're really friendly. So don't worry about that. And from Gran Tarajal to Morocco, actually, it's I think just 70 miles. But I've not done it. I asked a lot of times, and people, oh, be careful with the fishing nets, and at the end, I never did it, and I regret it a little bit. And I might do it in the future. Any comments on catamarans, suitability for Canaries and the crossing? Well, catamarans are getting very more common. A lot of catamarans, as you know, and catamarans is a nice boat, mainly because it's the space and mainly the draft, of course. Catamaran, I would say, is a must for French Polynesia, these areas where you can go through the channels and so on. For crossing the Atlantic, of course. I mean, you're going with the trade winds. You're going down road all the time. I mean, when we crossed last time, I just used my foresail. I just used my wing with the pole, and that's it for 16 days from Mindelo. Easy going. I mean, it wasn't a problem with catamaran. I know many friends crossing with catamarans. Perfect, not a problem. The only problem, of course, with the catamaran is close reach. If you want to go back, which we tried once from Gran Canaria to Lanzarote with some friends, and that was a bit hard, and there's no way. You need to put the engine on. I have a 28 feet boat and new to cruising. My plans are to sail to Canaries. It's 28 foot reasonable size for the task. This reminds me, in Lanzarote once, in the Atlantic crossing, I met Javier Visiers, who is a very well-known boat architecture and builder in Spain, and he was crossing for his 10th time. And I asked him, what boat are you crossing with now? And the answer was, the boat crosses always. Who does not cross is the crew. So 28 foot, of course, why not? Why not? Yeah, you can do it. Just take your cautions, you know, and have your safety gear and have your everything you need to know. There are people every year that row over the ocean from La Gomera. We have the mini Transat, which has 6 meters 50, and they're like cruising, and they're not cruising. They're like it's a regatta. I mean, they're going full on speed. So 28 foot. Yeah, why not? It's not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. You just need a little bit of experience. That's all. About again back to the catamaran. Sorry. The only drawback with catamarans is when you need to haul out the catamaran, right? You need to really look around which marinas are okay to haul out the catamaran due to the width of the boat, right? And so the travel lift sometimes standard travel lift is 70 tons, but Lanzarote, there's marinas they can haul out, of course, in Las Palmas as well, and they're getting into this more and more. Tazacorte is a nice place to store your boat, to leave it outside. I know many friends who've done it, left the boat outside and let it there in the dry, which is okay. No hurricanes in the Canary Islands. Well, no hurricanes. We had close approaches this last year. They moved a bit strange going up. I mean, what I'm telling you about the wind and the direction, of course, that's a standard. But you know, weather is changing, and yeah, but this is the standard, and normally you don't have. What you do have is the Sahara dust. When you have east winds or southeast winds, you have this Sahara dust that gets really bad. Sometimes it even reaches here the Caribbean. Like a week ago, we were anchored in Caracun, another marina, and another anchorage place, and we had like for a few days really a lot of dust that was coming from the Sahara. I mean, it actually crosses the whole Atlantic, and of course, when you are in Lanzarote or Tenerife, the dust sometimes gets so bad that if you have not sailed for a week and you get your sail up, your halyard goes over the block, and then you have pieces of mud falling down on the deck. I mean, so dusty it gets, and the boat is always brown. Our flags, actually, the Viking Explorers flags, we delivered it to our participants in Gran Canaria. They were white and new, and when they arrived in the Caribbean, they were all dark. They were all completely brown. So yeah, that's typical as well from the Canary Islands. And I don't know if there's any more questions. The food is really nice. You must taste and try the papas arrugadas with the mojo, which is typical garlic sauce. Fish, there's a lot of fish, and yeah, it's. I mean, Canary Islands. I like the Canary Islands, and of course it's a must if you cross the Atlantic. Well, I've been talking now 40 minutes, 41 minutes. I don't know if there's any more questions. I could talk about more things if there's any questions coming up. I'm waiting if there's anybody who wants to know anything anymore. You might have heard that there's a lot of works going on in Marinas. There's a big work going on in the south of Lanzarote, Playa Blanca. But these again are harbors belonging to Puertos Canarios, so they're mainly focused on the main, which is cruise ships. So they invested a lot of money there, but they only have put 50 more moorings for sailors. So they're more focused on that. Well, I hope it's been 41 minutes. This seminar was set to half an hour, so. Okay, look, Lucinda Heikel. Hello, Lucinda. Where would you recommend for a year-round berth? Well, this is the question I've done a lot of times in the Canary Islands to the marinas. As I said, not many people store the boats outside in the marina in Spain. Big sailing boats. They leave it in the water. You can store it actually in Tazacorte. I know they're very keen to store it and leave it there. In Las Palmas, I think not so keen because it's more workers, more like hauling out, do work on the boat and back in the water. And I think Lanzarote as well. You might ask Lanzarote, maybe Marina Lanzarote or maybe Marina Rubicon. They might also want or let you leave your boat there for a year or so. Lars Hansen, great book. You might have provided. We used it a lot. Thank you. Thanks for that. It's been a great job that was done with this book. And well, I started researching in 2013 already, and then 4 years later, so we did this guide. And yeah, I'm really happy because yeah, as I said, this was something necessary for the Canary Islands, especially because there's a lack of language sometimes, you know, and information. And with the private marina, it's not a problem. They're all fabulous and they will answer your emails. But if you want to have other options, then it gets a bit more sketchy because sometimes they don't speak any languages or no proper English. Thank you for being. My plan would be to explore the Canaries for a year before joining your Viking Explorers. I will be in touch in a couple of years. Well, that's great. I mean, you can contact me anytime you want. I mean, you can contact me through email. My private email, or even send me messages as many people do on my Facebook, and then I answer them normally. Then I ask them for the email, and I send them a bit of an email, a bit of information what they need to know. And yeah, of course, I mean, Boyd, welcome. I will be maybe in the Canary Islands and we can meet up there. I'm always in the Canary Islands from September up to February. And the rest of the time I'm sailing. We would be back September, but we'll see if we can get back in October. Thank you, Kenneth, for saying it's a great webinar. I try my best. This is my first one. Yeah, Viking Explorers 2021 is happening. We've got 24 boats. For 2022 we have already 14 boats. And yeah, we are in contact with all Marina sponsors. Everybody's there, but as said, we are on standby. We think that's the most cautious thing to do. We will leave for sure. We will leave for sure. We will leave from Las Palmas. I hope that we leave and we sail to the Caribbean, to a nice marina. We've contacted several of them, and that's really good. Well, I hope you liked all the webinar. It's been 45 minutes now talk. I thought it was half an hour, but I talked a lot. That's the problem I have. I talk a lot sometimes. And well, I invite you all to send me messages, to contact me. Kenneth, you're asking me how is immigration as you arrive? Very straightforward. Very straightforward. They do it in the marina. If you leave the Canary Islands, you should have your SARPE from Gran Canaria or from the authorities, and then because they will request this in the Caribbean. But if you sail to Mindelo, most people don't do it, and in Mindelo they won't ask for it. And I know thousands of sailors for years. Not many ask for that. Thanks very much, very useful. Thanks, David. Kevin Gardner, what route do you take on the way back from the Caribbean? Well, of course, back from the Caribbean, there's no way you can go straight to the Canary Islands. You go straight towards against the trade wind. So it all really depends on the high of the Azores, right? It always depends on that. You need to keep an eye on the high of the Azores. That's why you want to sail a bit further up north, because you want to go around the high. And take then the south sector and then the west sector of the wind of the high to reach then the Azores. A lot of people, they sail up to Bermudas first, and then they cross to stop over there, which then of course you do a lot more miles. My last time I crossed the North Atlantic, we set sail from San Martin. We set sail 45 degrees straight line to the Azores, and we kept going, kept an eye on the Azores High, and then the Azores High all of a sudden disappeared, and we did a cruise sail straight to Azores. I sailed this with a captain that had done this journey about 18 times, and it was the first time they did this direct route. So normally you sail, you cannot sail east because you sail against the trade winds. You need to get out of the trade winds with our sometimes quite far, up to 36, 35 degrees sometimes. This last week I saw there was a big high, and you need to go quite far up north. As I said, you sail first. You try to win as much east as you can, and not to fight against the wind all the time. Just slightly close reach, and then once you reach, the problem is if you reach the high of the Azores and you're in there, then you will have no wind, and you will stuck there for a long time without wind. You need tomorrow maybe the rest of 6 days up to Madeira, to the Azores. So you really want then once you're around probably 41 or so 42, then you go up north, and then you go around the high and you go to the Azores. Azores is open now, I think, and I'm not quite sure now if it has eased down a lot, because since the first, a lot of things have changed in Europe. So I'll see. Matthew Keckley says, I believe Imray were the first to publish a large-scale chart of Tazacorte on chart E2 when the Marina was built. A great harbor. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm very happy with Imray, of course. I mean, Imray is the leading company for charts and for guides. That's why I'm also really happy to have the support from Imray. Well, I got asked if I want to do this webinar, and of course I didn't even think about it. So yeah, great. And our ICC certificate is not a necessity. No, not really. Not really. Not really. I mean, no, not really. Not really. Spain, when you are in the Canary Islands, with a foreign flag as well, police will not normally they don't stop you. Normally they go for local people. But yeah, I mean, it's straightforward. The Canary Islands are very used for sailors. Are very used to sailors who come by and then keep sailing, and they're very keen to welcome all the sailors, of course. I mean, and really nice. The only thing that I would like personally is that there's more being done with services in other marinas. not the private marinas. I talking about the other marinas, which are really nice and very sheltered. I mean, the thing is, and it's also in those marinas very easy to haul out. In the private ones, in the other ones it's more difficult. The problem on those marinas belonging to Puertos Canaries, to the government, is that the marina belongs, and the haul out, which is the travel lift, belongs to the marina. The marina belongs to Puertos Canarios, the ground belongs to Puertos Canarios, but the travel lift belongs to the Cofradía de Pescadores, which is the, let's say, the fishing associations on the Canary Islands. So then you have to deal with both sides and organize both sides. And if you don't know Spanish, that might be very difficult. Of course, it's the cheapest way to haul out your boat and get things done, but then you need to do it yourself. I mean, nobody will help you out. They will haul out your boat, the fishermen, with a big travel lift, 70 tons, no problem. But then you need to get your stanchion yourself, and you need to get everything yourself, and then nobody's gonna. There's no big chandlery beside, and then you have to do it yourself. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I'm happy that I might have been able to help you, and yeah, as said, I hope you enjoyed it, and I might do another webinar in a few weeks if I see it works okay. And you can always ask me, of course. You can find me in the Facebook, and which is, of course, I mean, many people don't like it, but Facebook is the source for everything, and that's really nice. So thank you very much to everyone, and my boat is called Islander. I hope I see you somewhere in Anchorage or somewhere, and said I see you on the Canary Islands very soon. Take care and fair winds.